we be able to find out when the monies was advanced to a certain account and how much was advanced? Because we don't even know when we're returning money, we don't know when the money was advanced from the account. So if we have a fund we're putting $40,000 back into it, when did we take the $40,000 out? And so where in your package will we be able to look at it and get an idea of where to find that advancement?
Well, that's a very good question. I have never done this level of work that we did here that's back up on the screen now with advances and transfers. We felt it was such an outlier that it needed to be included in the forecast report. There's just a lot of activity here. I mean, let's just be honest here. Let's just be candid. I mean, you had a substantial amount of returned non-operating activity revenue that occurred at the end of the year in 15 that was not included in your October forecast last year. Only you can answer that internally with your team there. We have done a lot of work actually outside of normal forecasting to try to get a handle on this globally.
Ernie.
But I would tell you this, and then I will listen to the question. This third bullet is very key to you as a board member. First of all, on June 30th, 2015, the district booked a return advance to the general fund. It wasn't exactly $312. There was some dollars in addition to that. It was actually posted as a fund-to-fund transfer to the general fund. Then in August, it was reported to the board for approval as an advance. And, you know, I could not find the detail to support that 312 came from the general fund to begin with. And so you need to look at that in more detail. That wasn't my job to do that, to be honest. It's not that we can't help or won't help, we will. But that can be very convoluted, ma'am. That's from 2007. The first question is, why are you returning in advance from 2007? And why are you posting it as a fund-to-fund transfer? I'm sorry I can't offer you more answers than questions. But I will tell you this as a board member, you should have questions.
Ernie, this is Tiffany. I'm sorry. This is Tiffany. Can you please let me know? I heard you say earlier that you did not receive a copy of our permanent appropriation.
I'm not sure on that, Tiffany. I'll have to check my emails.
How did you receive your information?
Donna may have sent me the appropriations. I'm not sure. Donna, did you send those to me?
Well, I'm sorry. I was talking to somebody else. What?
I don't recall looking at them, Tiffany, so that's the bottom line answer. In terms of whether or not I have them or not, I have to go back.
Yes, I had sent those to you during a board meeting a while back when they were tabled. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
We received the information. We have access to your accounting system, so that we were able to do direct dumps from the accounting system to pull these numbers in. That's how we got your history and was able to populate the forecast.
Is there a reason? I mean, were you all ever in the office itself to receive information?
Yes, Ernie and another colleague were on site.
On site.
Yep.
Once.
This was in August.
Ernie, when
we came up in this past summer, I believe it was end of July, and we did meet, got a lot of data then, and then we're able to also go in and access the data remotely, which is the easiest way for us to get the information. In terms of the appropriations, I wasn't aware that you were having the appropriations approval tonight. I apologize for that. I can take the document that was sent and stack it up. For example, the thing that I would want to do is how much are you appropriating for salaries? How much are you appropriating for benefits compared to the forecasted amounts?
Yes, because that's a big issue for myself, is their appropriations being more than what they actually are. or maybe too less in certain situations. In your opinion, I don't think you have the permanent appropriations that we have here tonight that we need to vote on. But would that, in your opinion, if you had these, would they offset the projected amounts that you have in these 5-year budgets at all, negatively or positively?
Well, I would need to see the iteration of appropriations that you have tonight, and then we can organize that. What we're going to do is organize that right down to the forecast level. Sorry, but what's being appropriated for each of the categories.
We also
Because
have,
here's something you don't want to have happen is that you end up appropriating $1 million more than forecasted, or $1 million less, and there was a basis for it. Then we need to make a change in the forecast for that.
Ernie, this is Unikina, and I wanted to ask a question and then kind of get your feedback. We have a problem when it comes to returning advances or transfers to various funds, and I think it's because it tells us what we're returning, but it doesn't tell us when the original advances were. And I think if we had all of that, the background as to when it came out and when it goes back, that would help us a lot, because each time we get to this resolution to approve returns of advances, we get stuck and they get tabled. So I was just wondering, as the person who's done this for a long, long time, would you think that would help the board to understand what is going in and what's going out, as opposed to just saying return of advances?
I believe so.
Does that make sense?
Again, by this going over so many years and then a big return, I can put my experience to work here and try to get reasonably comfortable. But again, I think that you are owed an explanation when these go, especially back to an 07, for example, and very clearly the detail, a very clear trail of that being posted into that fund from the general fund initially, before you just authorize it to go to the general fund.
Right.
Normally, and this is what Ryan had mentioned, I'm not going to tell you that it happens every time. This is pretty big activity here. But normally, you will see those advances taken care of fairly quickly in the next fiscal year. So, for example, if on June 15th we didn't get quite enough money in for Title I, we'll advance the money, and then many treasurers will reverse that as soon as the books are open in the next fiscal year and the project cash revenue is coming in. Your situation as a board member is you're dealing with historical. But I will tell you this, fundamentally, you absolutely should be able to see, if it was 2007, you should be able to see a transfer or advance out from the general fund on the district's record keeping that would support you. And why are you returning $312,000 today, for example, on the one that was done on June 30th?
I just wondered if that was asking too much of
if you were asking me that, I wouldn't think it was too much, no.
Okay. All right.
And that's all I can give you is my perspective on
That's
that.
all I need. Thank you.
Okay, well, Donna, we'll wait for further instructions. I would love to be able, I know we're headed into the holidays. If we are useful to this organization, we'd like to help as best we can, because that's the goal now. And, I'll be glad to come up and we'll roll up our sleeves and all get started.
I think the holidays actually provides an opportunity to do that, Ernie. As much as we enjoy each other's company, why not spend a little more time together over the holidays? But really it does, and I think our calendars open up just a titch in order to schedule some of these meetings. That might take some time to kind of drill into some of that benchmarking information so that we can start looking at some options. Because I think this board has now heard on several occasions, the seriousness of the shortfall. Your shortfall is a little more serious. The problem that presents is, had we not heard it and we came up with a plan to remediate the shortfall, it wouldn't have been a good enough plan potentially. So I think part of what we need to do is, we know that it has to be a combination of cuts and revenue generation. We have basically three options: cut enough money to survive, raise enough money to survive, or a combination of both. And I think that what they've heard now for a while is probably a combination of both is how we can get to a place where the overage is more around zero, like you said. And then honestly, possibly some trips to the State House, over the course of the next couple of years also. So it's going to be a combination of those.
And Don, if I may add, we also talked about fundraisers that the board could do, and possibly levies if necessary.
Well, I think levies are a foregone conclusion based on these numbers. So.
Okay, well, we will wait to hear from you, and we're ready to go.
Thanks, Ernie.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
I look forward to meeting everybody.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you.